No,
20 seconds.
none of that.
Headphones. These are your headphones here, madam. Don't worry, if you're too far away, I'll adjust the mic. It should be all right.
You want to bring it to me?
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the
Best music.
WBBE, the Beats Best Radio.
What's going on? This is your boy Shyy.
And your boy DeMann.
And you're now tuned into Inspired Talk with a station where the train drops here. D-Man, how you doing today, man?
Man, life is good, man.
Real good, because guess what? We got a special guest up in the building.
Miss Steen, wow.
U.S. Senator candidate.
Yes.
She's in the building today. Ladies and gentlemen, a little history about this young lady. A reverend.
Uh-huh.
Reverend. That's the good thing right there.
Okay.
A former news anchor. A part of the ACLC.
What?
World Peace. And we know we need some peace in this world right now.
Yeah, man.
I mean, she is a fighter. Welcome to the station, Miss Miles.
Shyy, it is a wonderful opportunity and just such a pleasure to be here with you and D-Man.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
We've got a little liquid sunshine outside, but it's okay, huh?
We still here, and the sun is still shining because you are in the building. Yes.
3, 4, 7. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. D-Man,
What's up, man?
I can't stop smiling.
I know, right? She just bring that good energy, man.
Perfect energy. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want to call in, make sure you call in at 404-826-9223. If you want to listen in without any codes, that's without any codes, you can call 401-347-0418.
Also, y'all can check us out on the Beat Drops Radio. Hit the live tab and look at us live while we have Miss Steen Miles in the building and your boy D-Man and Shyy.
Yeah, I wish the audience could see you. Because y'all are casket clean.
Whoa, hold on, Tyler.
See,
Turn to the side a little bit. Show them what you got.
I mean, we had to step it up. We had to step it up because we
Yeah.
have Reverend Steen Miles, a U.S. Senator candidate.
That's
up
what's
in
up.
See, there's not only one person, y'all. There's number. How many senators?
There are
candidates?
4 candidates
Four
on the
candidates.
Democratic side. You only hear about one because they have a whole lot of money in their father's last name. We don't have the money, but, you know, my father has cattle on 1,000 hills. And,
She about to take me to church, y'all.
Bring it on.
She about to take me to church, knowing I need it.
but seriously, there are 4 of us on the Democratic side, and only one of us, however, and that's myself, has legislative and policy-making experience as a former state senator. And we really can ill afford to send someone to Washington at this critical juncture. There is so much at stake. The president needs help. He has wonderful initiatives, but he needs some help in order to push those initiatives forward. And so we're ready to hit the ground running on day one to help make certain that we fully restore the Voting Rights Act, that we raise the minimum wage so that people that are working 40 hours a week are able to lift themselves out of poverty and be consumers and help boost the economy, making certain that we do what we ought to be doing for our veterans in particular. Our men and women go and fight on foreign shores, and they should not have to come back home then and fight for benefits for their psychological and physiological wounds. And so we're going to be working hard to make certain that our veterans get the benefits that they so richly deserve. In addition to that, I'm very concerned about and have been active in prison reform. It is so very important that people understand folks err and we make mistakes, but we shouldn't have to pay for those mistakes for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
So we're working diligently to be involved in the movement to ban the box, so that when you go to make an application for a job, that the first thing that you're asked is, do you have a felony or have you ever been arrested? That just thwarts your ability to be able to present yourself before you even get out of the box. And so prison reform and equity in sentencing is very important. These are initiatives that the president is already working on. We just want to go to Washington and make certain that we help.
Now, I have a question on behalf of that, because a lot of people is confused between senator and House of Representatives. What's the difference between those two parties?
All right. Here's a little civics lesson 101.
Yeah.
There
are
on the local, on the state, and the federal level, there are three branches of government. There's your executive branch. The executive on the federal level is your president. On the state level, it's your governor. On the local level, it's typically your mayor or the county commission chair, depending on how the government is configured. On every level, there's the legislative branch. On the federal level, it is the House of Representatives that has 435 members, several districts from around the nation, several districts in the state. In the Senate, on the federal level, there are 2 senators from every state, no matter the population. And so Georgia has 2 federal level senators. One is Johnny Isakson, and the second one was Saxby Chambliss. He is stepping down, and that is the seat that I'm running for. And the same thing happens again on the local level. And then you have the judiciary. Very important when we go into that ballot box that we vote from top to bottom. When you go in there, and I have a sample ballot with me, but when you go in there, you're going to see at the very top of that ballot, O. Steen Miles for U.S. Senate. And then there'll be 3 others, and then it'll go all the way down, and you need to go all the way down that ballot because it's very important who judges you, and that's the judiciary branch, and those are our judges. On the federal level, it's the U.S. Supreme Court. On the state level, it is your state Supreme Court, and then your local municipal judges.
See, that's history and education for y'all, so y'all can't say Inspired Talk don't educate you all.
Exactly.
So thank you, Ms. Miles, for that information for people that don't understand it.
Ms. Miles, I gotta.
So I'm not running to be the congressman.
She's not running for the
I'm
Congress.
running for the
Senate.
U.S. Senate, and I'm a former state senator.
See,
Okay.
that lets you know she's already qualified, as she already stated to you all. So make sure. Do we have to wait till November to vote?
No, absolutely not. You can vote now. What's called early voting. Until May the 16th, you can go to any of your local offices, and you can go to your local elections board, and you can find out what locations are open for you to go and vote early. And you can vote early by absentee ballot or in person until May the 16th. That's the cutoff date. April 21st was the cutoff date for being registered in order to vote. Okay, May the 16th is the cutoff date for early voting. The primary election, and this is so important, the primary election is May the 20th. At that time, on the Democratic side, you will decide in those contested races, in which I am a participant in one, who you're going to vote for. It's like the semifinals. That's what the primary is. It's like the semifinals, and we get eliminated. And then one of us will advance to the big playoff in November the 4th. That is the general election, and that's the final decision as to who is going to take that oath of office in January as the next senator from this great state of Georgia. So think of the primary as the semifinals, and as November the 4th, the general election as the big playoffs.
Yeah, we're going to the playoffs.
So May 20th is a key date, and that's when I need people to get to those polls and vote so that we can get into the playoffs in November.
Now, you said on the ballot it say O. Steen Miles.
Yes. Why is that? He asked.
Please explain that one.
I'm so glad you asked.
Thank you.
My given name is Olive Steen. It's 2 grandmothers, Ollie Bell and Christine. And when I was in the 9th grade, I told all my friends, that I didn't want to be called Olive Steen anymore, and my childhood nickname was Teeny.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have in the building Miss Teen.
So I told all my
Miss
friends,
Steen.
please just call me Steen. And it stuck. From 9th grade, I've been Steen. I've been Steen on the air. When I was on 11 Alive News, and I was Steen in the Georgia State Senate. I've been Steen forever. But this year, the legislature decided that you have to use your legal name, but they did allow us to use a nickname. So Steen is in quotes, but it's O, which is my given name, period, Steen Miles. So at least Steen is there, and people aren't confused.
Now, knowing you personally, Ms. Miles,
Uh-huh.
you live by your last name. You run those miles. I have seen you operate from the ACLC, which I was part of, well, still is, just haven't been active. But I saw what you stand for, and world peace, organization, decency, and order. Are those qualities allowed in the house? Because I'm looking at leaders today. I just have to be stupid and ask that question.
It's all good.
I have to. Because I don't see, I remember back in the days we used to say, "In God we trust." God bless America. We don't hear that anymore. So
I fervently believe in the vision of our founding fathers. Didn't necessarily include at that time African American or other people of color. But I firmly believe that we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that is the first premise of my platform, which is equality of opportunity for all, equality and opportunity for all. And you talked about the ACLC, which is the American Clergy Leadership Conference. And that is one of the mainstays, is that we're one people under God. We're one people under God. And when something catastrophic happens in this country, and I say that we need a moral vision in Washington, and I think that is something that I bring to the table. When something catastrophic happens like 9/11 or like Katrina, nobody asks, are you black, white, gay, straight, are you Jewish, are you Gentile, are you Catholic, are you a Pacific Islander, are you Greek, Jew, Catholic? Nobody asks any of those questions. We put our shoulders to the wheel and we go to work and do what needs to be done for each other, for Americans. And that's the mentality that we've got to bring back to Washington and start putting people over politics. This gridlock and these wedge issues that only seek to divide us and keep allowing the rich to get richer, quite frankly, and the poor to get poorer. And I have said from Dade County to Lowndes County and everything in between that it is racism, bigotry, and corporate greed that is stifling our growth here in the state of Georgia and this nation. And it needs to stop. And we need to have voices that are courageous and that have the skill sets and the knowledge and the experience and the exposure to go in there and say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done.
wow.
Do I hear some applause?
Yeah.
And it's so very critical because we're being left behind in this country.
Exactly.
China is outstripping us. I did a speech maybe about 6 months ago to a group of Nigerians delegation that were here up in New York. And one of the things that I found when I did my research about why China is having such success in Africa is because of a couple of things. Number one, they treat people in the African continent like equals. It's just right here. What can we mutually do to benefit each other when it comes to the economy and to trade? And the second thing that's so very key that the Chinese do, and that is their only requirement is that you treat us as Chinese. not from the mainland, not from over here, not Taiwanese, but as Chinese. We don't do that here in the United States. We're too splintered racially with all of the different designations. That's another thing. That gets me to another point. Why do we have all these different racial designations? Because my passport says U.S. citizen. It has my name. You can see who I am. There's a photo ID of me. You don't know that there might be some Irish blood somewhere in there.
Exactly.
Or there's some Choctaw Indian in there. But here we have all these different designations. We've got black, we've got white, we've got Asian, we've got Native American, we've got Pacific Islander, we have Alaskan Native American. We have all these different designations. At the close of the day, what are we?
U.S. citizens.
U.S. citizens.
Exactly.
We actually have a call in.
Miss Pat calling in from Atlanta. Matt from Atlanta.
Get the name right. Get the name right, sir.
How you doing, Matt?
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
Miss Miles, what an inspiration you are.
Well, thank you.
You are somewhat of an iconic figure for me here in Atlanta. You're such an inspiration. Just listening to you talk, I think this will be the first year that I do in early voting.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. That is so wonderful and so important. Mac, it is. Is it Mac?
It is Matt.
Okay. It's so important that people be engaged and that people vote, and that we don't simply vote out of emotion, but that you study the candidates and don't just buy the hype because someone has TV ads all over the place that don't say that they're a Democrat and talk about who their daddy was. Well, what have you done lately?
Ooh, come on now.
I am so glad to hear you say that, because it's so very important that people understand people died for us to have the right to vote.
Exactly.
Shed blood all over the South for us to have that precious right to vote, and for us not to take the opportunity to go and vote. And let me tell you something, Matt, and I'm glad to hear you say that you're going to go and early vote. This election is as critical to these United States as the president being elected. And here's why. We need to hold the Senate. Democrats currently have a majority in the Senate. If we lose 4 or 5 seats and we don't turn Georgia blue, then we stand the risk of having a majority Republican in the Senate, and the gridlock that we have seen in the House will be a Sunday school picnic compared to what's going to happen in this nation. There are forces at work 24/7 trying to take away the gains that have been made for women, for minorities, for people in this country. They're working diligently. They're paying lots of money, and we've got to get up and get our eyes open and get busy and get out there and vote and stop just sitting being complacent and letting these things happen. Because if we don't go to vote, we don't count and we get what we get.
Mr. Matt, we want to thank you for calling in for that.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Now, I'm trying not to go spiritual here, but I got to. That lets you know how much favor is on this woman's life. Because you have people that has the money, has the name, has the fame, and they have all this, and just for Steen Miles coming to the Beat Drops Radio, Nspired Talk Radio, you got to vote. Just one counts. And therefore, I just can't appreciate you no more than I can appreciate you. You are such a blessing to me. And like Mr. Matt said, what you're saying is so powerful that I encourage everybody to go out to vote. We're not saying this because she's in a building, but if you really want your life to enhance, you got to make sure you go out and vote, because these people do have control over our lives. And you say if the Democrats lose the House, that means the Republicans have all control.
Yeah, you know what they're gonna do.
They won't extend unemployment benefits. They won't raise the minimum wage. They don't want to pay you, but at the same time, they want to cut any kind of lifelines that you have to just survive. You can't have it both ways. We've either got to pay people and put people to work. People want to work. People want to be able to be valued.
They want to live.
They want to just live, you know. And you said something about favor and fair. And that's okay. But the fact of the matter is, I am completely undaunted, not intimidated in the least by the $6.6 million that have been raised by this one candidate, because we know where that money's coming from. But that candidate has not deigned to go and talk to rank and file people around this state. But when I say people, I'm not talking in a racial sense. I'm talking in a status or social class. Has not bothered, will not come, has not spoken at one forum where we've been together. The other three of us, she will not come. She will not come because she's either abysmally arrogant or she's afraid, and she should be.
And on that note, we're going straight to a commercial.
And our song is outstanding.
That's outstanding.
I'm taking it back, y'all.
Oh, woo. Son, put that game down. I'm sorry.
Make sure you tune in every Sunday morning for Sunday morning inspiration right here on thebeatdropsradio.com starting at 9 a.m. Again, every Sunday morning inspiration right here on the Beat Drops Radio, 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in. Download the TuneIn app so you can take it wherever you go. Win the app right here on the station. Streamer radio, we are available. Make sure you get that inspiration that you need.
We are back with Inspired Talk. This is your boy Shyy.
And your boy DeMann.
And we have special guest, U.S. Senator candidate Miss Steen Miles in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, you can call in at 404-826-9223. And you can listen in without no codes at 401-347-0418. And we'll give a shout out to Douglasville, Atlanta, New York, Texas, Florida, for checking out Inspired Talk Radio with our special guest, Miss Steen Miles. Miss Miles.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is such an honor to be here in the studio with you, DeMann.
Yes, ma'am.
Shyy. You know, and I said earlier, I wish the audience could see you because y'all are casket clean.
Yes, ma'am.
Shy's got on his three-piece, black pinstripe. You got on your black suit with red tie, power red.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
This my baby Obama. You know, I'm trying to step it up a notch.
All right.
But remember, you can watch us at the Beat Drops Radio, so you can see us live. And she has on her zebra, no, that's leopard print over there, tiger. Yeah, man. You know we have to have a full some kind of way.
I tell you.
Laughter is always good, man.
We up here talking about the House, the U.S. Congress and the U.S. Senate and the opinions and the thoughts of what we need in the White House in the House for us.
Absolutely, Miss Miles. What inspired you to embrace the world of politics?
You know, politics ideally is the people's business, and I've been about that, I guess, all of my life. I've been volunteering in my community from everything from the PTA to the Chamber of Commerce and League of Women Voters, and everywhere my children were in school, I was involved. I've been engaged and involved in my community, and I come from a home of parents. I guess I modeled them for taking care of the least and the lost. My father was a pastor, my mother was a homemaker, and somebody was always in our house, you know, if they needed a leg up, relatives or sometimes even complete strangers stayed with us until they could get on their feet. And ours was just that great big house where family and everybody just, you know, whatever beans we had, we shared, that kind of thing. But being in the media, for over 35 years, and I was blessed to be a trailblazer. I was the first African-American woman on television in my hometown in South Bend, Indiana. Started in radio, $2 an hour, 2 hours a night, 2 nights a week.
Wow.
And then the next step was being auditioned for the television side of the combo house. And so, to whom much is given, much is required, I do believe. I've been so tremendously blessed. And my girls went to public school, have done well for themselves. And at the time, at the point, and it was not my plan to go into politics, I got that little tap on the shoulder from some folks in DeKalb County asking me if I would run for CEO. And, you know, there were so many myriad of social concerns in the community that I had seen up close and personal of homelessness and people being hungry and our children being killed in the streets way before, you know, this furor back in the 80s. Children were getting killed nearly every day in gang violence here in Metro Atlanta. So all of those things were happening around, and I wanted to be a part of making a difference. Well, I ran for CEO and I didn't win. And I was, I stepped out of my comfort level of a good job that women die for to be on the TV, and stepped out into the political realm. And I said, Lord, I know that this was confirmed by my dying cousin that I should run for office. And then I didn't win. And okay, what's up with that? Well, Marta called, and I went to work for Marta as their media relations director for 3 years. I learned a lot about transportation and transit and how that is hand in glove with economic development. Well, there was a young lady by the name of Connie Stokes who is now running for lieutenant governor, and she stepped out of District 43 in the state senate to run for Congress in a very crowded field of 5 very popular ladies trying to unseat Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney. And I said, why is she doing that? And the Spirit, a little tap on the shoulder, said, that's where you run. And I did. I ran and was elected to the Georgia State Senate. But what inspired me, long story, is wanting to make a difference to all of those social concerns that I saw out there in the mean streets of Atlanta. People just need opportunity. People need education. People need and want a clean, safe environment to raise their children and to just live, again, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so that's why I stepped out there. And I wouldn't take anything for the journey, and I'd do it all over again. It's been very challenging financially to go from 6 figures to 16 is what I was making in the Senate, but God has provided all of our needs, and so we just go forth. And when I get hungry, the girls will buy me a loaf of bread.
We're gonna take it back. How your family had the open door, and whatever you need, we got you. We family, so we gotta support one another, and this is a big time right now. So we definitely support you, and we have a caller, twin, calling in from Old National. How you doing, caller?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Great. You had a question or comment?
Oh, yeah, man. I don't really have time, man. I'm just checking in with you. Campaign ENT over here, I just like what you're doing, though.
All right.
I heard the last 2 shows and everything, and yeah, it's just nice, everything. We're going to keep on supporting you. The whole entertainment going to keep on supporting you, changing things on, so that.
All right. Thank you for calling in.
You know what you're doing, man.
All right.
Get out there and vote.
Make sure you vote May 20th, May 16th.
I can barely hear y'all, but I got to get ready to go right now, right? So I'm going to get y'all later.
All right. Thank you for calling.
DeMann is loved in the building tonight.
Man. But it's cool. Yeah. We're going to have to shot on start now. Miss Miles.
Are there any cookies in your pocket?
Hey. This guy, Miss Miles. It's all good. What do you think about the 300 Nigerian girls that were kidnapped?
279.
279.
That is a mother's worst nightmare, and I wrote about it in our Mother's Day message. To think that someone could come into a school and burn it and take 279, I think is the number, young girls, just snatch them, and you have no idea who has them, where they are, what's happening to them, is just a hellacious nightmare. And I can't imagine, as a mother of 2 daughters myself, of the pain and anguish that these mothers are experiencing, and for the international community to be outraged, and for our president to commit to helping find where these girls are, who has them, and try to get them safely home to their families, I think is a good thing that we get involved to that extent. We have here in Georgia, and many people aren't aware, this human sex trafficking is at epidemic proportions right here in the state of Georgia, of girls that are being abducted and lured into the sex trade and they're being kidnapped, they're being made slaves. And we need to pay attention to that. We need to do everything possible to make sure that we stop this kind of madness in our communities. And people know who some of these folks are. Right. And so to not say anything is as criminal as taking those girls yourself. So we must be involved, we must be engaged, because these are our daughters, these are our sisters, these are our cousins and our relatives, our loved ones. This has to stop, and we can do better. We can do better. We can do better.
Now, I know recently Bianca had a guest named Kim who was actually in that situation, and she just said it was heavy here in Atlanta.
Yes.
Buford Highway area and everything else. So
yes,
it's important. I mean, I understand that we have a care for the Africans, but what about home? And my question to you is, we have so many people that we have elected to be in office, and everything that they said was so beautiful, and we want that. And when they get in office, they don't know who we are. Right. So how can we trust anybody to go into office and live up to what they say?
How can you trust me? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I can't say that because I don't want to get slapped.
Don't do it.
I don't believe in physical violence anymore.
Wow. Back in the day now.
But seriously, check the track record. What a person has done is a pretty good indication of what they will do. Once is an accident, twice is a trend, 3 times is a habit. And so the first time that you don't respond could be an accident, you might not have gotten the message. The second time, there's a trend. And then the third time, you know that it's a habit. I am proud of my record of service in a volunteer capacity and as an elected official. And people will tell you that I respond to inquiries. I respond to my constituents because I understand you elected me to go and be your voice and your vote in the state Senate and in Washington. And I can only say, check my record, which will be an indication of what I will do in Washington. I've had the celebrity piece, and so I'm not caught up into the seduction that happens with some people when they get elected and they're now senator or they're representative, and people are bowing and kissing the ring and throwing out coats and palm leaves and that sort of thing. We go to Washington to do the work for the people, and the people who sent us there. That is first and foremost in our minds. We don't forget.
And from there, we're not going to forget, but we're getting ready to go to commercial.
And our next song is She's a Bad Mama Jamma.
Oh, she's a bad mama jamma.
Bad Mama Jamma.
I want to talk about this hair thing.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get back into it.
Yeah, okay.
Nspired Talk Radio.
Want me to bring
Yeah,
it
my
up?
dad just
Want me
said
to bring it up?
sit and listen.
Wednesday.
He's drunk.
You better not take advantage of that whore. For better or worse, it's full of surprises
All I gotta tell y'all about what happened last night.
that will make your jaw drop.
I wanted to surprise Joseph by having everything all done. Where are you expecting golfing?
This house is way too girly for a man to live in alone. So I'm asking you, will you live with me?
Tyler Perry's For Better or Worse. Only back to back.
What's up? What's up, family? It's your boy DeMann,
And it's your boy Shyy.
and you tune in to Nspired Talk Radio. And
Yeah.
today we have the beautiful Miss Steen Miles.
News lady.
Yeah.
Miss Miles,
Yes, D-Man.
I am so glad you are here,
Yeah.
inspiring our youth, inspiring our people, and just getting the word out there. I just so appreciate you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. It's so critically important that particularly young people understand why it's so important to vote. It's about education. It is about repealing those draconian laws like Stand Your Ground.
Yeah.
It is about repealing those crazy gun laws. What I would have done if I had been in the state senate at the time, I would have said, well, let me offer an amendment. So since we're going to allow guns in churches and bars and campuses, let's allow them in the legislature. Because after all,
Wow.
you might say something I don't like. You know?
Wow.
So we don't need any
Yes, let's take it
metal
to the court.
detection devices at the Capitol. Let everybody bring in their stuff and yeah.
Yeah, I want to bring my gun into the court system.
Nah, man. Shy.
Give me another traffic ticket.
Shy. See, first of all, you might have to slow down, brother.
I want to ask for my 10% now.
Miss Miles,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was checking out this pamphlet here, and I see your hair is looking very beautiful, and you look very nice. Can you give me a little bit about this picture?
Are you telling me that I don't look nice now?
You look beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to cast it red. Cast it red.
My hair is straight on my palm cards, and there's a reason for it. I did wear my hair straight for a long time, and the reason why it's still on the picture is because the young lady who took this for Who's Who was a small businesswoman, a photographer. She's no longer with us. She's dead at 51 years old because she couldn't afford health care. And so my hair is in its natural state because I was in Jamaica teaching some kids in the mountains and had braids in my hair, and when they came out, all my hair came out too, and so we went natural. But I leave this picture with my straight hair in memory of her for the importance of affordable health care. My sister had a brain tumor the size of an orange in her head, and they operated on her for 12 hours at Piedmont Hospital. She had health care insurance and is still with us. This young lady had a brain tumor as well, but she couldn't get the care that she needed because she couldn't afford health care. That's why affordable health care is so very important. And so the wedge issues that you hear from the administration, from the people in Washington who want to repeal affordable health care, not one moment. And we will resist in Washington every attempt to repeal affordable health care. It is important to people. It was important to Denise Gay. She didn't have it, and she's no longer with us. So that's the hair story.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's deep.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still looking at this poster as we analyze it. And it reads, a proven public servant you know and trust. Why do you use the word servant?
Because that's who I am. I'm a public servant. I serve you. I serve us. I go to Washington to be the voice and the vote for us. There's an African proverb that says, it's called Ubuntu. I am because you are, and because you are, therefore I am. We are one.
Wait a minute. Say that word one more time. Ubuntu.
No, Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Okay.
Yes.
See, D-Man, Hey, you know what I'm saying? I got it.
D-Man has it.
Thank you.
He's got it.
Ubuntu.
Say
Say it with me.
Say it, Shyy. Say it with
Just, come on.
Come on,
You sound like you got a cookie in your mouth.
Shyy.
I was just playing. I love how good.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Okay.
Wow. There you go.
This Miles, I want to thank you for coming in tonight.
Yeah,
It's been a
pleasure.
It's been a blast.
Now, for people, we understand we have to go vote.
Yes.
May 20th.
Yes.
Steen Miles.
Yes.
But for those who want to follow you and support you,
Sure.
how can they find you?
www.steenmilesussenate.com. Steen, S-T-E-E-N, Miles, M-I-L-E-S, U-S, Senate, SENATE.com. And you can go to the website and you can make comments and you can read about our service to the community. You can read about our platform in depth, what we want to do in Washington to support the president, and 4 basic things on the back of this card. Fair and equal opportunity for all, grow the economy and create jobs, protect the working and the middle class, and protect the environment. Global warming is very, very real. All you have to do is look at the disparate temperatures that we've been experiencing, and you will know that it is real. We see drought, we see wildfires, we see the forest fires that we've experienced, and these extreme temperatures. That's all part of global warming, and we have to stop relying on fossil fuels and start relying on what? Renewable energies. What are those? It's water, it's wind, and it's solar. It's just that simple. God gave us an abundance of it.
Now, do you have another appearance coming up, or you have another city or somewhere going?
I am all over the state. I will be in Polk County on Saturday, May the 10th. I am speaking at St. Paul AME Church on Pryor Road in Atlanta on Mother's Day. I invite you to join us there. And then Sunday evening on Mother's Day, I will be participating in a televised debate on GPTV that will be aired all over the state of Georgia. And you'll have an opportunity to see the 4 candidates in action, answering questions that are important to everyday Georgians.
Well,
It's going to air on Monday, what is Monday? Monday the 12th of May at 7 o'clock on GPTV. So if you can tear yourselves away from D-Man and Shyy, and then watch us on GPTV.
Yes, ma'am. I will tune in.
Make sure you all follow us on InspiredTalkRadio.com, and we'll have all the information up for us.
And I want to give a shout out to Inspired Talk Radio, The Beat Drops Radio, Campaign ENT, Changing Lane, Inspired Images, and everybody who support D-Man and Shyy and Inspired Talk Radio. And talk to y'all next Friday.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day, Miss Bianca and Miss Miles and all
Miss
mothers.
Lady T, Miss Tanya Clark in the building.
Yeah.
All the mothers out
All
there.
the mothers,
Yes.
Thank you.
even the single fathers.
Yes,
Happy Mother's Day to everybody. We out.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Miles.